Let's start with the question. He said, the God is in the skies. Why do we need to accept the picture, the life picture? God is ever kind and compassionate. God is loving. And if He is compassionate, if He is loving, if He is kind, why is there so much of suffering in this world? When we think about the COVID pandemic, we have the same question. If God is so kind, if God is so compassionate, if God is so loving, why man is suffering from this pandemic or COVID-19, coronavirus? Why is the compassionate God not saving the humanity? Michael, the American devotee, asked Sri Thakur, why do we have to accept the life picture? God is ever kind and compassionate. He should shower His blessings on everybody. Sri Thakur said, Michael, imagine that you have a huge house with a big garden. In your garden you have a pond. In the pond you have many fishes. You have brought many fishes and you are breeding those fish in your pond. And after a few months you decide to spread a fishing net and catch those fish. You go to the pond with a big, huge fishing net and you spread the net inside the water. Few fish get caught in the net. Many of them escape. And many never get caught in the fishing net. Michael is carefully listening to what he is saying. Thakur says, the fish who got caught in the net, you can do whatever you want to do with them. But the fish who never came in your fishing net, you cannot do anything with them. Even if all the fish belong to you, the fish who get caught in the net and the fish who did not get caught in the net, all of them belong to you. But only those who got caught in the net, you can do whatever you want to do with them. Those who did not come in your fishing net, you cannot do anything with them. Sister Thakur is saying, God's condition is also equally like that. God's condition is exactly like that. Those who surrender to Him, He can do whatever He wants to do with them. And those who refuse to surrender to Him, even if they belong to Him, even if they are also the children of God, God cannot do anything. Like you cannot do anything with the fish who do not surrender to you. Similarly, God cannot do anything with the people who do not accept. And what is my relationship with the God who lives in the skies? When you think about poetry, you remember Rabindranath Tagore from Shakespeare. When you think about kindness or love, you remember your mother. When you think about anger or cruelty, you remember a cruel man. When it comes to God, don't you think you need a man in whom godly qualities have been manifested, in whom godly qualities have been embodied, who exhibits godly qualities? We can understand God by accepting a man in whom godly qualities have been embodied and manifested. We are extremely fortunate that we have such a life teacher. The God Himself has come in human form as the prophet of days, as fulfiller of the best. There was a devotee of Sri Thakur, Khalilur Rahman. Once he came to Sri Thakur, he got a telegram from his home that his son is serious, he has to go home immediately. He came to Sri Thakur with a telegram inside his pocket and he wanted to bring the telegram and then show it to Thakur. The moment Thakur saw him, Thakur immediately told him, Khalilur, I want you to go to this place and finish some important assignment I want you to finish. Khalilur Rahman was saying, Thakur, but Thakur said, I have no time to talk to you now. Please immediately go there. Complete that work, come back, and I will talk to you. I have. Thakur said, don't waste your time. Please go there immediately. You have to complete that work in next 1 week's time and come back. Khalilur Rahman, without any option, feeling helpless, big thought, this is Thakur's desire, so let me follow whatever Thakur says. His son was serious. He was in a critical condition. Khalilur Rahman said about his destination where he had to complete the work Thakur had assigned. He completed the work. He came back to ashram and he came to Thakur to update him about the task that he has completed. He came and Thakur saw him and said, Khalilur, he wanted to go home now. He said, yes, but Thakur, let me update you about the task that you have given me. Thakur said, no, don't worry. You go home. You haven't gone home for a long time. Please go home, meet your family. Once you come back, then you tell me what about the task that you have completed. Khalilur Rahman again was helpless. There had no option. But in his mind, he was thinking, what is the point in going home? My son would have died by now. He must be no more. Because he was in a very serious condition. But he said, Thakur wants me to go. So he went to his village. On the road on the road right in front of his house, he saw that his son is playing with his friends. Khalilur was extremely surprised. He said, how is it possible? My son was very serious. And he went inside. His family members were very delighted to see him. And they told him, his wife told him, good that you came, but when you sent to the telegram, your son's condition was really, really bad. The doctors had given up hope. There was no chance of his surviving. But after that, what happened, we don't know. Suddenly, he started getting better and better and better. And miraculously, he recovered. We had no hopes that he will come back. Khalilur Rahman decided to come back to ashram the next day and express his gratitude. He came running. He met Thakur. He said, Thakur, you have saved my son. You are the Supreme Savior. Thakur said, the Supreme Father has saved your son. I haven't done anything. Khalilur Rahman said, I don't know who is Supreme Father, but you have saved my son. That is what I did. Thakur said, Khalilur, the day you came to me with a telegram and you told me that you wanted to tell me that you want to go home, your son was in a very, very critical condition. He was on death bed. He was about to die any moment. Your son had one desire, just one desire in his mind, that I would see my father once before dying. Before I die, I want to see my father once. He had that desire. Had you gone home that day, he would have seen you and he would have breathed his last. He would have passed away because his desire would have been fulfilled. He wanted, he desperately wanted to see you. Had you gone there that day, he would have seen you and he would have peacefully died. Thakur is saying, I stopped you from going that day. And your son's desire to see you became his willpower. Because he wanted to see his father before that. And he told himself, I must live on to see my father. If my father doesn't come today, if he doesn't come tomorrow, if he comes after 4 days, I must live on to see my father. The urge to live, to meet his father. That willpower started curing him. He started recovering because he had that strong desire to live on. Strong desire to live. And the urge for life helped him get his life back. This is Sri Sri Thakur. We describe Sri Sri Thakur as Karan Purush. Karan Purush is somebody who knows the cause of everything. Who knows the cause of everything. Many people used to come to Sri Sri Thakur with many problems. The moment Sri Sri Thakur used to listen to their problem, like on a television screen, we start seeing the visuals. Sri Sri Thakur immediately used to see the cause of his visuals flash on the screen. This used to flash on Sri Sri Thakur's, in front of Sri Sri Thakur's eyes. That's why he is called Karan Purush. And every time somebody used to talk to him with a problem, he immediately could relate to the cause of that problem and he could provide a solution. Acharya Dev, the Param Pujyapad Sri Sri Varda also was Karan Purush. Param Pujyapad Sri Sri Dada was also exactly like that. And the present Acharya Dev is also like that. Before the pandemic hit all of us badly, he instructed all of us that we must start following a disciplined life. We must follow the principles of hygiene. Present Acharya Dev, through Pujyapad Sivaita, gave instructions to all of us that we must take Thalkudi leaves every day. We must have Tripali every day. He could see the pandemic coming. He is Karan Purush, who could see the cause and the effect, and how can we escape from this suffering? How can we escape from this pandemic? How can we keep ourselves free from the negative impact of the pandemic? Only a personality who can see beyond the range of our vision, who can see the finer things in this environment. Only such a personality can find the cause of everything. And Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra expects all of us to have a cause finding activity. Sri Sri Thakur says that all of us must have a cause finding activity. He said every time we face a problem, think about the cause. Why this problem has come in my life. And Sri Sri Thakur says, have a solution focus. Thakur told one day that to live a happy life, you must need three things. You must need control over your life. You must have cohesiveness in your life. You must need solution to problems in your life. Thakur used to describe this in Bengali, Niyantra, Samanjasya, Samadhan. He said, if you have Niyantra, control, Samanjasya, cohesiveness, and if you have Samadhan, solution to your problems, then you can enjoy your life. Sri Sri Thakur says, when Purushottam comes, he does not bring any suffering to him. If he brings one thing to humanity, that is the wine of life. He said, the Supreme Father brings the wine of life. All the ingredients of enjoyment is what he brings to humanity. He brings all the ingredients, all the elements of enjoyment. But if you understand those ingredients, then we can enjoy life. For that, Sri Sri Thakur says that we will have to purify ourselves. We will have to transform ourselves. Param Pujyapad Sri Sri Dada, one day he came near Sri Sri Thakur and he found Thakur is sitting in deep contemplation. Thakur is thinking something deep. And he asked, Dadu, what are you thinking? Sri Sri Thakur said, I'm thinking about perfection. I'm thinking about perfection. How can we bring perfection in every human being? How can we bring that transformation? In Punya Bhakti, Sri Sri Thakur says, Ami Chai Shubha. I need that perfect being. Sri Sri Thakur said, I don't want anything. I do not want your money. I do not want your wealth. I do not want your service. I only want one. I want the perfect being. Ami Chai Shubha. Can you become perfect? Can you at least strive to become? Can you make that sadhana to become? And Sri Sri Thakur says, all the conflict between our passions and perfection, the fight between the complexes within us and the fight of goodness within us, that fight is going on all the time. But if we have to win that battle, then we must have deep, unflinching, attachment to Sri Sri Thakur. If you have that unwavering attachment, then Sri Sri Thakur is saying, if you have that deep attachment, if you have that urge to serve Thakur, Thakur is saying that urge can create a pressure in your brain. That urge can create a pressure in your brain. And through that pressure, the lines on your forehead can change. कपाल की रेखाएं परिवर्तन कर सकता है. आकुति अगर तीव्र होगा, इंटेंस होगा, परम पिता के प्रति जो अटैचमेंट अगर इंटेंस होगा, वो एक इसी तरह चाप सृष्टि करता है जिससे मनुष्य का जो कपाल की रेखाएं परिवर्तन हो सकती है, हाथ की रेखाएं परिवर्तन हो सकती है. ठाकुर is saying you can rewrite your fortune. तुम तुम्हारा भाग्य अपने हाथों से लिख सकते हो. You can rewrite. Describing fortune or describing a man who is fortunate, Sri Sri Thakur says the man who can control his environment in favor of his existence, who can tune his environment, who can tune his circumstances and events in favor of his existence is fortunate. So who can tune the events in favor of his existence, and who misses that tune is actually suffering from misfortune. So if we tune ourselves with that Supreme Soul, the Supreme Father, if we tune ourselves to Sri Thakur, if we tune ourselves to Acharya Deva, who is the living embodiment of Thakur in the absence of Sri Thakur in flesh and blood, we can become fortunate. We can live a fortunate life. And to achieve perfection, Sri Thakur is saying, আমি তোমরা চলতে পারো এরকম বানাতে আমি তোমাকে চাই না, তোমরা চালাতে পারো এরকম মানুষ তোমাদেরকে বানাতে আমি। मैं नहीं चाहता हूं कि तुम लोग सिर्फ चल सको, इसी तरह का आदमी तुम लोग बनो, वो मेरा इच्छा नहीं, मेरा इच्छा है तुम लोग चला सको. Thakur is saying, I don't want to be a goods train. I want you to become the engine of the goods train. All the compartments of a goods train can run as long as the engine is attached. But once the engine is detached, the compartments stop wherever they went. But at the moment that they are attached to the engine, they can run swiftly and they can run fast. This is Thakur is saying, I want you to become like an engine who can survive, but who can make this environment also survive. This is the responsibility Sri Thakur has entrusted upon us. Sri Thakur expects that perfection within us. Sri Thakur says, this is the only thing that I want from you, nothing else. I do not want your wealth, I do not want your money, I do not want your appreciation, prayers or worship. I only want your perfect being. And if you want to become perfect being, then all that you need to do is become biologically superior. You become biologically superior. All the superior qualities which are within you, bring them out. And those qualities is have to describe as super sensitiveness, making your sense organs alert and active, and so that you can sense everything coming your way. If a danger is coming your way, you should be able to sense it. Thakur is saying, if a pin drops, you should be able to hear that sound. Your sense organs must become that sensitive. Thakur is saying, you must have a cause-finding attitude. You must have an inquisitive intelligence. Anusandishya buddhi. And that anusandishya buddhi, or the inquisitiveness comes out of deep attachment to the Supreme Father, to Sri Thakur. It comes out of deep attachment to Acharya Deva. Because if I am deeply attached to Thakur, if I am always thinking about Thakur, in my words, deeds and actions, if I am only thinking about Thakur, then my mind is always curious to make him happy. What can I do to make him happy? What can I do to fulfill him? What can I do to serve him? And when we do his work, many problems come on our way. What can I do to find solutions to those problems? Sri finding intelligence or inquisitive intelligence. With that, we also need a problem finding intelligence. Problem finding intelligence, whenever there is a problem, we must be alert to find solution to that problem. Sister Thakur is saying, this is not enough. You also have to become receptive. There will be bad moments and good moments. You will hear a bad news and good news. Sometimes you will have bad results in the examination and good results in the examination. In our country, so many people, so many young children commit suicide because they have a bad result in the examination. The problem is they are not receptive. They cannot receive everything with unalert perspective. Thakur is saying, if you are throwing a stone into a water body, there are ripples. Water is moving away. But he's saying the entire water within no time fills in the vacuum and water becomes normal again. He's saying because of the bad event, incident, bad news, unfortunate event in your life, you may have temporary irritation, temporary disruption in your brain, in your mind. But if you are receptive, you will be able to become normal within no time. And Thakur says the answer is meditation. When you are chanting the holy name, meditate on this Thakur. Meditation makes man calm and receptive. When you become calm and receptive, you can receive anything that comes to you, good and bad, bad and ugly, favorable and unfavorable. This is Thakur is saying, to become a perfect man, you also need to develop presence of mind. That is also important. The moment there is a problem, how can we use the presence of mind to solve that problem? And this is how we are saying that we also must develop it willpower. Willpower. जिसको हम कहते हैं इच्छा शक्ति. And Thakur is saying the answer is very simple. Anybody can develop willpower. We know during Corona times, so many people could survive Corona even after being on ventilator just because they had strong willpower. Sister Thakur is saying the answer to willpower, or the easy way to find willpower, is whenever a good thought comes to your mind, implement it immediately. Don't delay it. A good thought comes to your mind, follow it, carry out that good thought immediately. If you make it a habit, willpower will become natural, spontaneous, normal within you. You don't have to put efforts to improve your willpower. That is very simple to achieve that. But when a good thought comes to your mind, if you don't carry it out, then you are going to lose coordination between you will lose sensory motor coordination is something that you will lose. This Thakur is saying your दैवी और कर्म, इन दोनों के बीच जो संयोग है, इस संयोग को तुम खो दोगे अगर जब अच्छे चिंता मन में आता है उसको तुम immediately carry out नहीं करते हो, तो you will not be able to have psycho-physical coordination, motor sensory coordination, and you will then the blundering twist that will be created in your brain, and next time you will die. Do it because you have made your brain dull, inactive. Thakur is saying these are the qualities, traits that a man needs to inculcate to become biologically efficient. Human beings are the most transformed, evolved species in the universe. But in the humankind, there are many people who, in spite of coming with infinite potential, are living a life which is below par, which is much below their potential. But if we improve our biological superiority, if we develop these traits that Sister Thakur talked about, sensitiveness, talked about inquisitiveness, he talked about willpower, he talked about presence of mind, he talked about problem-solving attitude. If we can develop all this, then we will become biologically superior. And this is what Sister Thakur wanted. I know that the time that was allotted to me has come to an end, but at the end it's a very happy, momentous occasion for all of us that we are back again in a physical setting like this and celebrating this satsang together. And let's hope that we continue this and the mercy of Sri Sri Thakur continues. And all of us wholeheartedly continue to serve Thakur, continue to serve Acharya. My prayer to Sri Sri Thakur at his lotus feet for your well-being and the well-being of your family and your neighborhood and for the